Hi everyone, welcome to another Fit for Mum Feel Great in 28 educational video. Good morning everyone, welcome along to another educational video. This month we are focusing heavily on our intake, our food, our nourishment and getting a balanced plate, balanced diet, balanced week, month, year, forever. I've asked you this week to have a look at your breakfast and see whether there are any ways we can give that a little shape up for the start of the day to give you lots of energy and vitality and make sure you're getting the right thing to start you off well. We've talked about a balanced plate, we've talked about protein, and we've talked about vegetarians and protein as well. So that's all come through on social media group and in your app. So if you've missed that, have a look back and see if you can catch up. If you've got any questions, let me know. This video is all about helping you simplify the whole process, simplify food, because in your 40s and 50s, you don't need an extreme plan. You don't need an elimination diet. You don't need anything that's going to make you think, oh, I'll start again on Monday. We just need structure, we need balance, and we need something that you can do for the next 20 plus years. Also something you can pass along to your children. You can feed the family so the whole family are functioning well. Just a balanced formula. So we're going to look at how you build a balanced plate. I'm going to introduce you to what I call the cup formula because it's a really good way of managing portion sizes. We'll also use our hands so it's nice and easy for you. A simple visual framework that works for fat loss, it works for strength, it works for energy, and it works for longevity. And you will, over time, if you stick with it, feel the benefits of it. And I know a lot of us, want to know about collagen for the skin and all of that. And if we go back to basics, we'll get all of that, okay? So what we're primarily going to look at is our food groups and portion sizes. That's what you need to be mostly aware of. If you get all the food groups, you'll get all the nutrients that help your skin, your nails, your hair, as well as your muscles, as well as your energy levels. And then portion size is going to make you eat what you need. You need enough to feel energetic and able to go about your day, but you don't need too much to gain weight slowly over time. You mustn't eat too little because then you'll feel rubbish. So we're just trying to get that portion awareness so you know for you how much you need. Each meal, we're going to aim for the 4 things that I've already mentioned to you in some of my posts. We're going to look for protein and we're looking for about 1 palm. This is at a meal, not throughout the whole day. 1 palm size, the width of your palm, the size of your palm, that's your protein, and that's roughly a cup. 2 fist sizes of vegetables and or fruit, and it's about a 1 cup minimum, ideally more. 1 cupped hand, so you do this, cup your hand of carbohydrates, that's roughly half a cup, half a measuring cup, and then 1 thumb size portion of healthy fats, which you can just use as 1 thumb size portion, and that's your plate. Okay, so let's break down why it's important that you get all of those things in. First of all, we know that protein is a little bit more important for us these days. Be careful, you need a little bit more protein now that we're a little bit older and we're exercising regularly. The guidelines for when we were younger was a little bit different, but muscle mass naturally declines as we age. So and particularly when those hormones do start to fluctuate, the muscle mass goes before all of that starts to happen, but now that's all happening, then we need to protect that muscle mass. We don't want to lose it, okay? And it's not just about looking toned, although that's very lovely, but don't forget your muscle mass links to your metabolism. Don't forget the muscles pull on the bone and affect your bone density. And don't forget that they also help regulate your blood sugar, and they will give you independence later on in life. So that muscle is really, really key. For women, we need about 1.6 grams per kilogram of our body weight. I like to, if you can work in pounds, I know we don't really, but if you work in pounds, then it's 1 gram per pound, so it's quite easy to work out. Anyway, next up, vegetables and fruit. You know you need loads of these, you know you need fibre. We're aiming for 6 to 11 cups per day. It sounds like a lot, but if you look at it, it's the fist size. So if you have a couple for lunch, a couple for dinner, you have some fruit at breakfast, you have a handful of salad here and there, maybe an apple in the car, that kind of stuff, you will get there. But it's the big one to aim for because it's the one I notice most on people's food diaries they have the least of, okay? People really struggle to hit the target on this one and therefore struggle to hit their fibre target, which is really important for us. So fruit and veg, all about fiber, micronutrients, gut health, supports the blood sugar, helps hormones, helps you feel full, etc., etc. So much goodness in that food group. Make sure you get it in abundance. Different colors bring different antioxidants, different vitamins, different protective compounds. Fruit and veg is where your long-term health lives. Think of it that way, okay? Next up, carbohydrates. We're not cutting them out. Please don't cut them out. Just structure them well to suit you and your active lifestyle. We're looking at around 1.5 cups a day as a baseline. That will be adjusted dependent on your body size, how much you exercise, what your goals are. But don't forget, the carbs fuel the strength workouts. If you don't have the carbs for the energy, you'll find it hard to keep going. You'll find it hard to lift weights, lift your body weight, etc., etc. So the carbs are there to help us with the energy. We break down the muscle during the workout, we put the protein and the carbohydrate back in afterwards to refuel and build, okay? So make sure that you get the carbohydrate in. Carbohydrate also supports your thyroid function and reduces stress on your nervous system. So a massive reason for us at the moment, not or ever, to give up carbohydrate. Make sure you are having a little bit. Fruit and veg is carbohydrate, but a lot of people try and skip the bread, rice, pasta, cereals and potatoes. You don't have to eat all of those things, but have a little bit of some of them on in your diet. And if you are doing a day of slightly heavier training, or you're doing all the housework, or you're running around and you're not sitting down very much, then you can increase your carbohydrate intake on those days. If it's a complete rest day, you're having a day off, we're relaxing, or you're doing Pilates, or you're just doing some stretching, then you can reduce it slightly, but don't eliminate it. All right, let's go on to healthy fats. So you need around about 1/3 of a cup per day. We talked earlier about a thumb size per meal, so 3 of those a day. Also, I want you to include 2 tablespoons of seeds and 4 to 6 teaspoons of oils or butters across the day, okay? So that's where just keep a control on it. Don't throw the olive oil into the stir fry pan and stir fry. Think about how much you're putting in. You only need 4 to 6 teaspoons. Don't forget that's for you. So if you're making a stir fry for 4 of you, then obviously you've got a little bit more leeway there. But you might have a little bit of butter on your bread maybe. But think about where you're having all of those things. Peanut butter I love, so that goes into my oil and butters, teaspoons per day. Often I'll have an apple in the car with a teaspoon of peanut butter with it, because I just love that kind of thing. Not everyone's cup of tea. Seeds and stuff go in my granola, but again, you can put them on salads. We had a tuna steak the other night where we put some sesame seeds on. So 2 tablespoons of seeds per day, 4 to 6 teaspoons of oils and butters across the course of the day, and 1/3 of a cup of those healthy fats. So that's like your avocados, trying to think of other things there, but we'll do some lists and I'll help you out with all of that. Fats are critical for hormone production. They're critical for your joint health. They're very critical for your brain health. They're good for keeping you full. So I just said avocados, but think of olive oil in the oil bit. You've got, nuts. There we go. Nuts would be your healthy fats. So they can go in that bit. We've got seeds, oily fish, and then obviously the nut butters cross the two. So you've got your healthy fats and your butters there. Now you need to make adjustments. So if you're taller, more muscular, or you're training really intensely, I know a couple of people are training for endurance events at the moment, your carb and protein portions might sit slightly higher at the moment. When you stop that endurance training, you'll pare it back. But you need to do that just to not only fuel the exercise, but to make you feel okay. Otherwise you'll feel frazzled afterwards. All right. I have an entire spreadsheet worked out for all different weight ranges, all different BMIs, for the amount of energy we need per day and how that breaks down then into each food group. So if you're really keen to have a look properly at your specific diet and what it should be made up of, let me know, and we can work out your calorie bracket and how many cups and stuff that you need. So if fat loss is your goal, we would tighten the portions slightly, but we still don't remove any food groups. Like I say, if you're doing heavier, more endurance stuff at the moment, carbohydrate increases. If you're starting to lift heavier weights on strength days, although workouts are slightly different this month, so you don't need to. We're using a different sort of technique to intensify the workouts, but you might need a little bit more carbohydrate on those days. Saturdays, when we do the live workout, that's slightly more intense, so you can have a little bit more carbohydrate on Saturdays. Fridays, rest days, protein stays consistent, vegetables stay nice and high, carbs might reduce slightly. But the key is consistency across the week. It's not necessarily perfection in one day. It's just looking at what you need for your life at that point in time. Okay, and let's just think a little bit beyond ourselves. So let's not just think about us, let's think about the family, because when you build a weekly meal plan for your family using this structure, it becomes simple and you're looking after their health as well. You don't need to necessarily explain it to them. I do a little bit sometimes, but my kids are doing PE GCSE, so it's very pertinent for them to understand this at the moment. But you can build this weekly structure, and my best advice for you is to pick 3 or 4 protein sources for the week, then choose a few carbohydrate bases, your rice, your potatoes, oats, wraps, that kind of thing. Load up on vegetables and fruit, add the healthy fats intentionally, so know where you're putting those bits in, and then mix and match it. So you might have chicken, potatoes, broccoli, with a little bit of olive oil on the chicken to cook it. You might have salmon, rice, greens, and some sesame seeds on the salmon. Like I said, we did tuna the other day. Breakfast, Greek yogurt I often have with berries, my homemade granola that's got its nuts and its seeds in, that kind of thing. It's balanced, it's repeatable, and it's quite sustainable. So that's how you eat for strength, that's how you eat for longevity, and that's how you protect your muscle, your metabolism, and help yourself feel confident with what you're doing for you and your family. It's not restriction, but it is structure. The plate doesn't always need to be 100% perfect, but if you know across the course of the week, you can get to the end of the week and say, you've had this, 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 and this, and tick it off, then you should be where you need to be and feeling great for that. So you just need your protein, you need your plants, you need smart carbs, healthy fats, and you need consistency, as I always say, and you will build something that lasts. So I'm going to put together a little food diary for you so that you can tick off all of those little bits and pieces and get yourself sorted. But if you've got any questions, let me know. If you want to know specifically for yourself, let me know. We can work on that together. Just email me or message me directly and I'll help you out with that. Otherwise, start editing your diet and see how you can get yourself feeling better. I promise you, if you do this consistently, you will have more energy and you won't feel as tired, and you won't be blaming menopause for feeling a little bit rotten. Use this as your medicine to make yourself feel better. I hope that helps. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you again with more education next week, but hopefully I'll see lots of you tomorrow for a great workout. See you then.